Hi everyone, this is Richard. In this video, let's talk about directives. So first of all, I have to back up a little bit and let's talk a little bit about some definitions. So in here, when there is just press me, that's just the value. It's the actual text. That's what we call a literal. So when you have a parameter that has an actual value, you're not putting a variable in there. That's what the literal is. When you have a variable inside of here, so like we did before, at press, right? So at press is the variable that stands for something else. So in that, and let's renew this, and that would be called an expression. Okay, so when the value itself is represented by a variable. What a directive is when you have keywords that provide a function. So it's a keyword in and of itself. All right. So do you notice in the beginning, we had some of these things at page, right? And then in main layout at body. So those are directives, basically. Okay, so this basically, you put an at in order for it to say what is the function that follows here. We'll go over that a little bit more in just a second. When you have a directive in a button, okay, so any type of element itself, you can have some type of function inside of there. So the way I think about it is the element is an object, for object-oriented programming. So class button right here, or whatever the element is, class button, and one of the methods would be the directives. So the directives are the methods of that. All right, so in this particular one, there's lots of different things that we can do for directives. They're built into the system, and this is just something we have to look up on a regular basis. Some of the most common things are like on click or on mouse over, and notice the at in front of it. That's just the syntax. That's just what we have to do in order to make it function, okay? So basically, when you do this, let's just go over this one. On mouse over, so I have a button. When I put the cursor on top of the mouse, it's going to activate something. So this something is a reference to something method, okay? So public void something, and what it's going to do is console.writeLine something. So it's going to type something actually down here. Somewhere down, I think it's in output right here. Okay, so it should put it right around here. Keep going. Oh, there we go. Okay, it'll be outputting here. And if I do run over it, it types inside of here, okay? So I run over it. I don't have to push the button or anything. I just run over it and it types the word something. Why? Because that's what we have. So this is just one way to provide more functionality to your elements themselves, or your components. And let me take a look and see what else we could talk about directives. Oh, actually, notice one thing here. Something, I don't know if I've gone through this before. So notice something doesn't have parentheses. Not parentheses. Actually, these are parentheses, aren't they? Parentheses in front of them. So you're not calling the function, right? You're just basically having a function reference. So in other words, what's the difference? If I did this, what happens is when the computer reads the code and it reads down and it hits this, it'll say at mouse over equals something. It will activate the something itself. It won't, it's actually going to cause an error, but what it will do is it'll activate the something because it'll call the function at the same time. So that's not what you want to do, right? You don't want to run it when the code is being read. You want to code it when the mouse over actually happens. And so you don't call it, you just refer to it. And so what happens is something, only after you do a mouse click, does it activate this particular function here. Okay, so I hope that's clear. And by the way, there are other things that we can do. There's an on click. We can do that too. So if you look down here, if I run it over, nothing happens. But if I click on it, then it prints. Okay, click again. So there's other things that we can do. We'll go over more in the future, but that's just the basics of what a directive is. Okay, thanks.